Welcome, I'm Lee Camp. Now let's take the news from behind. The U.S. government just celebrated a year of kidnapping and imprisoning Alex Saab, Venezuela's special envoy ambassador to the African Union. And you should have seen the celebration. Balloons, party poppers, confetti, strippers of at least 3 different genders. Kidnappings do not normally go this well. So you can see why it's a festive occasion. I mean, Julian Assange's kidnapping and imprisonment has been like such a to-do. People upset and talking about it and stuff. However, with Alex Saab, it hardly even gets a mention in the U.S., which is just, it's much easier on everyone. I mean, and we should want that because the CIA doesn't need more problems. The CIA guys, think about it, they're just like you and me, all right? They have bills to pay. Their hot tub sprung a leak, and now the wood on the deck is getting all warped and gross. They got to deal with that, and one of their kids is failing out of art class or some shit, and their wife is annoyed with them for spending too much time at work, so they end up in that same fight we've all had, being like, I can't take a weekend off torturing people. You think they're going to torture themselves? We've all been there, right? And so it's nice that at least one thing in that guy's life, kidnapping this Venezuelan diplomat, is just going great. Just great. You see, a year ago, Saab's flight was refueling in the African country of Cabo Verde when he was on a humanitarian mission flying from Caracas to Iran to procure food and gasoline for the Venezuelan CLAP food assistance program. CLAP is Venezuela's very successful program to make sure every one of their citizens is fed. Here in the United States, we take a little bit different tact. You know, we arrest people for feeding the hungry and then put them in prison where tax dollars pay to feed the newly arrested people. So it's kind of cyclical, kind of like a snake eating its own tail or a guy blowing his own trumpet. But in Venezuela, feeding the hungry is actually encouraged. I don't know. I don't get it either. It's just one of those cultural things, right? Like how driving on the other side of the road is normal in Britain, or how in Spain is actually considered second base. Man, did I learn that the hard way. Cultures are just weird, right? They're just weird. So why has the U.S. government said they needed to kidnap a Venezuelan diplomat? Saab's crime, according to the U.S. government, was money laundering. That is, Saab conducted perfectly legal international trade, but his circumventing the U.S. sanctions, which are designed to prevent relief to the Venezuelans, is considered by Washington to be money laundering. I mean, it makes sense. If feeding hungry people in our own country is a criminal act, then a dirty Venezuelan trying to secure dirty money for dirty food to give to other dirtier Venezuelans, that's more criminal than like murdering a child and burying the body inside the Pope, which he would obviously shit out in the woods. After being pressured by the U.S., the Swiss government looked into these allegations of money laundering, and after a 2-year investigation, found none. So Alex Saab has been held in an African jail for a year, essentially being tortured so that the U.S. can try to crush a country that it doesn't like. Venezuela is socialist. That is gross. And they give their oil profits to the people instead of a tiny handful of rich douchebags, and that's like double gross. Gross times dose. And yes, I get that some people have a problem with us capturing this guy in another country as if it's our own, but everyone just needs to realize that we own the world. Is that so megalomaniacal? Is that so egotistical? Okay, it's the definition of both those words. But still, if we can declare we own the world, then we can declare we own the dictionary. And I, as an American, hereby announce that saying I own the world is not megalomaniacally egotistical. So there! By the way, I'll be selling T-shirts that say world's greatest megalomaniacally egotistical dude out of my hatchback in the parking lot after the show. You should totally grab a few. Hopefully, later you won't run into another guy wearing that shirt at the same time, because that would be awkward. Kind of like when two guys with world's greatest dad shirts stumble across each other, you know, and then they have to fight to the death to settle it, and it's just like so awkward, you know, during Sunday brunch, trying to staunch the fountains of blood with tater tots, then having to break the news to the 6-year-old that his dad is no longer the world's greatest dad, and also no longer a dad or living, really. That is so awkward. So awkward. Point being, an innocent man who was trying to secure food for the hungry has been kidnapped and imprisoned for a year, and no one's talking about it. When exactly would the mainstream media like to discuss yet another crime by our government? You let me know. You let me know. You let me know when it's a good time, and I'll put it on my calendar. I don't want to inconvenience you, important mainstream media people. You're busy. I know you're busy. You got to grease your yacht and go to your anal bleaching appointment. But any time that's good for you to try doing your jobs, you let me know. Let me know, and I'm here to support. I'm here to support.